Burning Man left me traumatized.
We made it to the line, and then we were here for about 17 hours.
A murder investigation's been launched after a man was found dead in a pool of blood at Burning Man Festival in Nevada.
So today we have a recent topic recommended from one of you guys. You should go over Burning Man 2025. It was a total disaster. I think this goes very well with the last video that I made on this channel, along with the whole Coachella influencer issue that we went over a while ago. But I would say honestly, this has a bit more of a darker tone. People end up dying at these events. Some comments saying that it's kind of like a cult. Very weird things happen at this festival, along with all the content recorded from the influencers, whether it's safe for YouTube or TikTok or not. So we have a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with just getting there in the first place.
We made it to the line, and then we were here for about 17 hours. That's right. It was so hot at first, but then we ended up sleeping in the van overnight because they closed the gates due to a whiteout sandstorm, which turned into a crazy rainstorm, which got mud everywhere. And the mud here, it sticks to your shoes like clay. So if you're planning on coming, just keep that in mind. This is probably all I can get through for now.
So just to start off this festival, you waited 17 hours in line in the middle of the desert, going through the sandstorms and rainstorms, which turn into mud, and basically nothing has even happened yet. Some of the comments, it's a desert and you're driving in a line. I thought that was pretty funny. I feel like a ton of people have probably seen the overhead shots in the middle of nowhere, just a desert, and a massive line of cars just sitting there all day. You couldn't pay me to do that, no cops or anything. You're in the desert, and what happens if an emergency happens? Well, we're gonna see some of that in a little bit, but there are many clips like what's on screen right now when an influencer confuses Burning Man with Coachella, because at the end of the day, almost everything has to be content, and if there's an opportunity for a good photo shoot and some sort of festival and get you a whole bunch of likes and attention, I guess the influencers are just going to flock to it, even though this is not the same when we're talking about Coachella. I came back from Coachella coughing for 2 months straight. Can't imagine what the people here are going through. As we're going to see, some of the crowds do overlap when it comes to Coachella because of the pricing to go to this event. To have to go through clips like what's on screen right now, what Burning Man really feels like, kind of looks like they're on set for the next Mad Max movie. Burning Man isn't just parties and lights. We got caught in a full sandstorm and couldn't find our way back. 6 hours wandering, no signal. I really thought that this is how it would end. Luckily, we made it back to camp. Never felt more grateful. This clip alone had 1.1 million likes, and we could just take a look at some of the reactions and comments from other people. Burning Man, where the ultra wealthy go and pretend to be poor. Feels dystopian, like rich kids playing pretend. Completely optional, by the way. People will do anything to feel something. My favorite part of Burning Man is not going. This is so Mad Max, that's what I thought. Burning Man is so dystopian. I'm glad I don't have money. Because we have a comment from you guys, and the next example going over that, $1,000 to $5,000 for Burning Man in 2025. Need to bring your own tent, food and water, and use a public porta potty. In the news, they talked about it, 3 days of non-stop dust storms, so dusty performers weren't even setting up the equipment on many stages. No sewage or porta-john trucks to drive in and empty any of the porta-johns. Sounds like a nightmare to me, and we could take a look at one of the examples of how much it cost this person.
Want to know how much it cost to attend Burning Man this year? Alright, let's go. Tickets were $575 and the vehicle pass was $160. Camp fees were $600 and includes food, water, ice, shade structure, and power. We cook all our food in San Francisco, freeze it, and then reheat it at Burning Man. The rental car was about $300 and the gas about $50. I had costumes from previous years, but if you're new, expect to spend about $200 from local thrift shops. I bought a bike from Walmart for about $120. You'll also need a tent, headlamp, air mattress, sleeping bag, a bike lock, and a backpack. We had all these from previous years. The total was about $1,800. It sounds like a lot, but it's totally worth it for a week-long experience.
I don't know, it seemed like it was pretty worth it in his eyes. For me, not so much. But this was just a single example. I was seeing some comments, people were paying 5 figures for all the stuff that they were bringing, the equipment, all the vehicles that had to be driven out, and let's talk about that a little more. The RVs people were renting out and the condition they were returning them in.
And here's another one that just came back. Sure did a nice blue tape job. This one's, well, I'll let you guys take the judge for this one. I mean, yeah, it does look like it's really dirty. Nothing really appears to be messed up. I don't even know what the hell that is.
And there are tons of videos like this online, and in even worse condition we're about to see in a second, but some of the comments, I'd be so embarrassed if I returned anything that dirty. Aren't they supposed to be big on returning things and how they left them or better? That's also apparently one of the big mottos when you're talking about Burning Man, not leaving anything in the desert when it ends, making it look like nobody was there in the first place. But the same can't be said for the RVs that people were renting, and there were even people lying and trying to hide the fact that they were using these vehicles to go to Burning Man in the first place.
Ronnie Ginto just started renting out his RV this year. It's been a good business, but now
This is the damage that he created, which I'm so disappointed and hurt.
a massive headache. Ginto says him and his wife have this man to blame, Shaban Shakuri, who, according to business records from Ginto, say he rented out the RV the same weekend as the Burning Man festival.
I didn't want my RV to Burning Man.
So he messaged Shakuri to make sure he's not going to Burning Man. It's even in the contract agreement Shakuri signed not to take it to festivals such as Burning Man because of the risk of weather-related damages. Shakuri told Ginto he was going camping instead, which Ginto says was a lie.
You cannot take this to Burning Man. The insurance will not cover it, and it prohibits you to take it to Burning Man. That's not his choice to make, but he still make it. He still did it. He still made the choice.
Ginto and his family business claim Shakuri knew the contract prohibited him from taking the RV to Burning Man. Now, the RV is returned damaged. Ginto estimates it'll cost tens of thousands of dollars to fix the exterior. The family who owns this RV claims Shaban took an AirTag out of the keychain for the Mercedes and then took it to Burning Man without realizing there's still another AirTag inside the van.
So in the end, he knew exactly what he was doing. He just didn't know it was being tracked in two different places. I don't know what website they were renting out the RVs. Maybe it was Turo, something like that. But I would probably take down all of my listings during the week of Burning Man if I lived in that area. Because again, I'm only showing you one example, but there were many instances of this happening. But let's go back over to the influencers and that whole mess with this skit.
Come with me to survive a 72-hour dust storm. So I'm here with my friends who go by Whispering Willow and Courtney. We've been surviving off of nothing but adaptogenic mushrooms, CBD gummies, and green tea. But oh my god, you guys, we got to listen to 3 hours of house music today and it was so good. I would say 8 out of 10, worth the $3,000, but Courtney didn't survive the storm.
Now I know that this was a skit and was supposed to be funny, but there's definitely a good amount of truth to that video. And like I said at the beginning, this turns into a much darker situation when you start looking at the news headlines for the past few years of this event.
A murder investigation's been launched after a man was found dead in a pool of blood at Burning Man Festival in Nevada. Police were reportedly notified of someone lying in the campsite at around 9:15 p.m. The same time the festival's symbolic effigy began to burn. Authorities are treating it as a singular crime, and the man's identity has not yet been confirmed. Around 70,000 people were expected to attend Burning Man this year, and 31 cases of hospitalization have been reported.
Well, we could go right over to the comments from this clip so nobody learned from what happened at Burning Man Festival 2024. People literally died there. So we could take a look at that one.
The woman who died at Burning Man has been identified. A tragic opening day to the festival in Nevada's Black Rock Desert. Pershing County Sheriff's Office has confirmed 39-year-old Kendra Frazier was found unresponsive yesterday morning. Her hometown has not been released. Emergency responders tried to revive her, but were unable to save her life. Frazier's next of kin have been notified. Cause of death is pending, an autopsy and toxicology screening.
And while we're at it, we could take a look at 2023.
Authorities are investigating a death at Burning Man, where thousands of people are still stranded. There are around 70,000 campers stuck in the Nevada desert after the festival site flooded with 150 millimeters of rain falling on Friday. Vehicle access is still cut off and the festival's pop-up airport remains closed. Campers have been told to shelter and stay put, but some have made the hike out on foot. This man says he walked 10 kilometers. The toilets are unserviced and people are being told to conserve food, water, and fuel. Police have reported a death during the event, but have offered little details as the investigation continues.
So this is when the situation becomes much different than, oh, making fun of the influencers at Coachella, spending a ridiculous amount of money complaining about things, stuff like that, where in 2025 we're talking back to back to back deaths, and this was just a part of what goes on at Burning Man.
What actually happens inside Burning Man's infamous origami dome? You guys know I can't say the actual O word. Most people just hear that name and they start imagining like total chaos. I'm sure that you're curious, so let's deep dive together. The origami dome at Burning Man is actually one of the most consent-forward and structured play spaces in the United States. You can't just walk in alone. It's couples and groups only, so there's no solo wanderers allowed. And inside, I want you to think soft mattresses, lots of pillows, dim lighting.
I bet that's exactly what it's like in that dome, let alone all the chaos that's around the sandstorms, the rain, people getting trapped, the sewage not working, others literally dying. But yeah, I bet this whole area is super safe and nothing ever goes wrong. Some of the comments, God can't come back soon enough. It's just Vice, glorified Vice and Sin Festival. I thought Burning Man was just an enormous wooden figure that gets set on fire. I didn't realize how degenerate the event actually is. You could add in this next clip that's up on screen. People think Burning Man is only about drugs and orgies, but it's the most sacred place to say goodbye. The first one is just a image of Lois Griffin looking at her phone. It's the come down baby girl. Kind of seems like what went on there for a week straight might have fried her brain a little bit. And let's take this all a step further with what's on screen right now. People have been taking their very young children as well. With all of what we've seen and heard in this video so far, do you think that this is any place for a child? But you wanted the experience with your kids, which really turns into making videos and more content for social media to get more attention online, because you absolutely had to upload this, right? And then you have some people defending this choice as well.
Some of my viewers seem to be shocked that children are allowed at Burning Man. Why? What do you think this place is? What do you think goes on here? I know there's a lot of misinformation and disillusion. People seem to think that this is like a giant orgy. There's an orgy dome. Oh my God, children shouldn't be here. Kids are not allowed into the orgy dome. Give me a break. You can't even go into the orgy dome solo. You have to go in with a partner. They're consenting adults. What's the next bad thing that could happen? Oh, I guess it's probably related again. They might see a tit or a okay. It's a body part. It's literally a body part. Why do we have to over-sexualize it and make it feel shameful and like you need to hide and cover up? I mean, I might have thought that was bad for kids or something a long time ago, but I have evolved, I've grown, I've learned, and I know now it's just bodies. It's just bodies. You make a big deal out of it, you make it weird. And once you start seeing bodies here and there, and they're not everywhere, but yes, I've seen probably 10 weeks since I've been here, seen some
So, it's not that bad. Everybody's spreading misinformation about Burning Man. However, it kind of sounds like everything that they talk about online actually happens there. But let's just go right over to the comments. It's a body part. They're minors. I guess she doesn't really care that they're underage though. I think it's because earlier when someone asked if pets are allowed, you had mentioned it would be irresponsible because people are on substances and it could be dangerous. So therefore, people are shocked that kids would be there and you defend it. Can't bring your golden retriever to the event because it could be dangerous for them, but your 4-year-old, completely fine. It's called grooming. Rationalize how you want. It's not a place for anyone under the age of 18. Wasn't there just an essay incident at Burning Man? There's multiple every year. It's not a place for children. Anything that has drinking, drug use, and nudity is not a place for kids. It creates issues around consent. Yeah, that's not teaching kids consent. Huge red flag. There were a whole bunch of people saying the same thing, so at least there's some people with sound minds. It really is just unbelievable to me. But we could go over to a very interesting example of what the aftermath every year is when these people come back.
Growing up in Reno, Nevada, I know everything there is to know about Burning Man, okay? The amount of people that I know that are in Burning Man, a part of Burning Man, help host Burning Man, put it on. Like, I know too much, but what I also know is that when I was in high school, I worked at a dry cleaners during Burning Man. And when you smell what their clothes come back smelling like, that's not a smell you'll ever forget. So while on top of the fact that I would literally pass away, that dust would take me out on minute 2, the smells that they produce, I'm good. I also think it's this weird, like, rich people cosplaying poverty. And, like, the whole thing just kind of gives me an ick overall. And I know an extensive amount about like what their purpose is supposed to be and, you know, what they feel they're getting from it. I just personally don't care for it. But I also think so many of them stink and it's gross.
I mean, when there's difficulty of getting the sewage in and out of the event for, again, a week, I wouldn't be surprised if showers are pretty tough to come by, so that smell must be brutal, on top of some of the other stuff that we went over in this video. But this next example is the picture-perfect influencer going to Burning Man to get the photo op, and then realizing that it's not going to be as easy as just going to Coachella or another type of festival.
Burning Man left me traumatized. So to begin with, it took us almost 12 hours to drive up to Burning Man, which is fine. We had a little rest stop. We spent the night at a hotel and drove from Reno to Burning Man. However, upon arrival to the Burning Man queue, the viral queue that everyone saw online, we were in queue for 24 hours. It was muddy everywhere. We were trapped, 4 of us, in a small little car for 24 hours after driving 12 hours there. Upon arrival to Burning Man, we were checking into our camp. So to join a Burning Man camp, you have to pay a fee. We paid $700 each to join this camp, and then $1,500 for a tent with AC, because I've never camped and I don't know how to set up a tent, so I just wanted comfort because RVs were too expensive and this seemed like the best reasonable thing to get. We arrived at our camp with no organization. Our AC was not working and our tent was barely set up.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut it off there. The video is much longer and gets much worse, but her experience just to walk in the door was $2,200 and 24 hours in a car. Honestly, I know exactly why they did this. You look at the account, Anna Woods, I'm Just a Girl, immediately after Shop My Brand. Just another cookie cutter influencer, and if you look at all the thumbnails for the video, just a ton of content from Burning Man. I don't know how worth it was to go for the content, because she's not getting a massive amount of views, and I feel like that's the goal for all of the influencers that go to these types of events. But some of the comments from this clip, best part of Burning Man is that you don't have to go. Kudos to you, because you're the first person I've seen that isn't trying to gaslight themselves into thinking they're having a good time, because that's what you're supposed to show on TikTok and Instagram, recording yourself, oh, this is the best, this is so much fun, as you're trapped in the desert with everybody sweaty and smelly, getting hit with sand and rainstorms. It just seems like a nightmare to me. But I think we'll finish off the video with this clip.
If you're at Burning Man this year, you should be struggling. Burning Man is not Coachella. It's not a music festival. You are in the middle of the desert building a city. You're bringing in all your food, all your water, your shelter. There's nothing provided for you. I keep seeing all these videos people are posting from Burning Man where they're like, oh my God, there's so much dust. There's so much rain. There's so much mud. Oh my God, wind. First off, turn your phone off. Get off your phone. Why are you on it? You shouldn't be on your phone. You're at Burning Man. Second off, what did you think that you signed up for? When you buy your ticket for Burning Man, you sign a waiver saying that you might die. And while yes, maybe that's a thing at other festivals too, at Burning Man, you really might die. It is scorchingly hot during the day. It is freezing cold at night. There is dust. There is wind. There is rain. You are out in the freaking elements with some shitty shelter that you've built. Burning Man is hard, and that is part of the beauty. Burning Man is a place where you get to experience the highest highs and the lowest lows. It is like being in an ayahuasca ceremony while you are in the real world.
And on that note, I will be passing on going to any of these Burning Man events, but I think there are many people that signed up for the next Coachella, the next photo op, growing your following online, possibly getting sponsorships like we saw at the previous events, and it is just not the same. Clearly from the examples and what we saw that actually goes on there, these seem like two completely different worlds, and some people did not know that. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.